If your business isn't making at least $1 million a year, your funnel has one of 5 problems. Fix the right one and hitting $1 million, even 10 million becomes incredibly easy, even with the same product, same traffic, same everything. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through this 5-step checklist that turns stuck businesses into $1 million ones. It's the same one that I've used to launch 6 different 7- and 8-figure businesses, including my current one that's worth over $300 million. This checklist is so critical to your success that it's actually the reason behind why I built SamCart in the first place, which is an e-commerce platform that helps you make sure all 5 of these things are taken care of in your business. Okay, so before we get to step number 1, I need you to understand that every business is essentially the same math equation. Can you turn money into more money? Can you take the expenses that it requires to start and grow and continue to run a business, like building and manufacturing your product, setting up a building if you need to have an actual location, hiring employees, providing the actual service that you promise, getting traffic and eyeballs into your store, to your website? Can you take all of that investment and turn it into more money, into revenue in the form of customers paying you for your product or service? So this is the math equation of all businesses. So when people come to me and say, hey, my business isn't working or this campaign isn't working, the truth is there's just a leak somewhere in this math equation, somewhere in the process of going from the setup or startup costs to generating traffic, turning traffic into leads, leads into customers, customers into repeat customers. Some link in that chain is broken. And that's what this video, this 5-step checklist is going to help you solve. Okay, so let's get to step number 1. When someone comes to me with any business that is not working, the first part in this math equation is over on the very left-hand side. It starts with the eyeballs coming into your business. Whether you're a brick and mortar store, it's people coming into the door, or you're an online business, it's the amount of visitors or traffic that you're getting to your website. So step number 1 is the traffic audit. And I simply ask, hey, during a certain amount of time, over the last week, the last month, the last quarter, how many visitors are you getting to your actual website if I'm talking to an online seller? If you're an offline seller, this could be how much foot traffic are you getting? How many phone calls are you having? If you're online, it's website hits, ads, social media, referrals, all different places you can get eyeballs. How many visitors have you gotten over this time frame where you say your business is not working? Sometimes people say, well, I'm not getting any traffic, that's my problem. Well, if you're not getting any traffic or any eyeballs, that is a major problem, but that's not actually the problem you need to start with yet. And I'll explain why in a minute. Most people totally screw this up and they don't understand why. This will make sense in the next couple minutes. If they have traffic and they say, yeah, I've had 500 people hit my website in the last month, but nothing's working. I'm not making any sales, not getting any leads, whatever the problem is, then I say, okay, the traffic is not your problem. Let's move on to the next step in this audit. Step number 2 is, well, what happens to that traffic when they hit your website or come into your door? Are you turning that traffic into leads? And this step, on some occasions, companies don't actually turn traffic into leads. They go right for the sale. They're not trying to build an email list or any leads list. And so if that's you, you can skip this step. But I recommend almost every business, you should have some way of collecting somebody's information so you can continue to market to them for free over and over again. So I'm going to ask, how many of those visitors became a lead, gave you their name, phone number, email, whatever information you need to collect from them? Those are the usual pretty standard ones. How many people hit that opt-in page or your website and actually became a lead versus the people that bounced? And most people don't understand that there is a pretty standard metric that almost every business should attempt to hit. And it's a good sign on whether you're good at turning people that don't know you into leads who actually do end up knowing you. If you're getting cold traffic, meaning if you run ads to people who don't know you and you practically force them to your website or to your business, you should still attempt and be getting over 20% of every person who comes in to give you their name and email to become a lead. If you're getting warm traffic, so if you're a social media influencer and a lot of the people coming to your website, they've probably known you for a couple days, maybe even a couple weeks, months, or even years. They've watched your content. That is a warm lead. That's someone who knows who you are and potentially already likes you. If that's the case for you, you should be getting 40% of every human being that comes to your website or through your door to become a lead. If you're at a 1% opt-in and you got 1,000 visitors over the last week and you got 10 people to opt in, you have a major problem. Your entire business is broken because you're bad at turning people into leads. So how do we fix that? If that's what we find in step number 2 of this lead audit, you fix it by giving people something that they actually want. Most likely, if you're converting that few amount of people into becoming leads, you're probably not giving them any reason to become a lead. You're probably just saying, hey, here's a form on my site, give me your name and email and I'll keep you up to date. And you don't even tell them what you're keeping them up to date on. You have to tell people why they should give you their cherished name, email, and phone number if that's what you're asking for. Here's a good example is my wife's dance studio. Almost every local dance business, they try to generate leads and they have some stupid newsletter that nobody wants to subscribe to. Who on earth would want to be on a dance school newsletter unless you're an actual customer and you want to stay up to date on all the stuff going on. So we didn't go with that. Like they had that at first. They were converting 1% of traffic into leads. I changed it to give me your name and email and I will send you over the pricing. So we hid the pricing off our site, something everyone thought we were nuts to do. And now we get 25 to 30% of every visitor that comes to the site give us their name and email. We fixed that broken link in the chain. So once you fix that by giving them something that they actually might want instead of something that they definitely don't want, either they don't want to give you away their name and email for nothing, or they definitely don't want to be on your boring newsletter unless you sell it and there's some good reason to do that. So once we crack step number 2, step number 3 is then the sales audit. How many of those leads that you're getting are actually buying what you have to sell? And before I actually go into that step, I usually ask a first question. If we find out, hey, they have traffic coming to their site, they've had 1,000 visitors in the last month, and they got 400 of them to become a lead, so they're converting 40% of traffic into leads, we're good there. The first thing I will actually ask is what percentage of those leads saw your sales pitch. The process of getting a lead, say it's on your website and they're opting in for a free gift, a PDF, a checklist, a cheat sheet, whatever. Way too many businesses do not optimize that thank you page. And if someone opts in, the thank you page just says, hey, thanks for giving me your name and email. Go check your email. I'm going to send you some cool stuff over the next week. That's a terrible way to do that. Your thank you page, where you have everyone's undivided attention, should make a pitch for your main product. If you're an offline business and someone becomes a lead because they download a free coupon to come into your chiropractic place for a free visit, and you just let them come in and then you just let them leave. That's terrible. That is opposite of what you want to do. Your goal should be that 100% of your leads are essentially forced into viewing or listening to your sales pitch in whatever shape or form you want to give that pitch in. That's a massive mistake that way too many businesses are making. If I find out that you're doing a good job getting traffic, doing a good job turning them into leads, and you're making all your leads actually, read your sales page or listen to a sales video or listen to a sales pitch over the phone or in person, then I want to ask what percentage of those leads are actually buying. This is something that most businesses don't even actually know. And if you want any prayer of reaching the $1 million, let alone $5, $10, $50 million a year level, you have to know this. You absolutely have to know these numbers. So here's a couple benchmarks for you. If the price of your product is less than $50, you should be converting between 3 and 10% of everyone who views that sales pitch, most likely all of your leads. You should be converting 3 to 10% of them into a paying customer. If you are getting really warm traffic, so if you're mostly marketing on social media, people are watching your videos, liking your content, then eventually coming to your site, becoming a lead, listening to your sales pitch, you should be getting even higher than that, probably 6 to 12%. And it goes down if you're getting a lot of cold traffic, you're running a lot of ads. That's the kind of a sliding scale. You can slide that down a couple percentage points. If your price of your product is over $100, then you're looking at like 1 to 3, maybe 4% conversion is what you should be shooting for of all traffic that is listening to your sales pitch. If your conversions are low, then it's not your traffic. Your problem is not the amount of traffic. It's not your opt-in page where you're getting leads. It's that your sales pitch sucks. And look, that might sound harsh, but I'm only harsh because I've made the same mistake. That when I first got started online in 2009, I didn't even know what a sales pitch was, let alone that I needed one or how to improve it. And the same way we improve almost every other step in this process is you fix it. You fix a low sales conversion rate by selling them something that they actually want. And here's the crazy part. Most of the time, you can fix this problem without actually changing the product that you sell. Another lesson from the dance school, it's a perfect example here, that when I came in and we started helping this business and they were doing $150,000 a year, and this year we're about to crack $1 million. We were selling $1,000 to $2,000 dance classes, and our sales conversion rate was very bad. Do you know what I switched it to? We still sold dance classes, but we didn't say we were selling dance classes. We were now selling $1,500 to $2,000 memories for their kids, experiences for their kids, new friendships and relationships for their kids in the form of dance classes. So our conversation with the lead was now, look, what is it worth to you to have your kids go through, a safe place where the teachers are going to love them, they're going to make tons of friends and have a ton of memories that they're never going to forget. Now a parent's saying, yeah, that's worth way more than $2,000. So here's my money. Where before, if we were just saying, yeah, our dance classes are $2,000 and you get dance classes, you can get dance classes anywhere. There's a million places you can do that. There's a million places to go for cheaper dance classes. That's not actually what we were selling. And the mistake that we made was trying to sell something that we shouldn't have been selling. Another hilarious story that I was at the beach a couple weeks ago, was at the boardwalk with my 8-year-old son. He wants to play every video game under the sun and every little carnival game. And he goes up to the one carnival game where you get the darts and you got to blow or like kind of hit and pop the balloons, because he wants this Donkey Kong stuffed animal up at the top. And I go up, I'm like, okay, how many for, how much is it for me to play this thing? And it was $20. $20 gave me 10 little darts. And I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And so I gave him $20 and he goes through and he's like one short of needing that Donkey Kong. So I gave him another $20 to get 10 more so he could get that stupid Donkey Kong. Like, the mistake for the guy behind the table there at that booth would have been to try to sell me a $40 Donkey Kong. No one would, in their right mind, would spend $40 on a stuffed Donkey Kong doll. But you know what almost every dad on the face of planet Earth would spend $40 on? Chance for his son to have fun, to feel like he earned something. That 15 minutes, the look on his face when he started getting the hang of it and hitting those, the balloons, and then the look on his face when he gets the Donkey Kong. That was worth $4,000 I might have paid for that. You got to understand what you're selling. And you can take a product that seemingly no one wants and is willing to pay for and change the way you talk about it and fix your entire sales funnel. You fix this one leaky part of your sales funnel and it fixes the entire thing. Step number 4 is the upsell audit. So the next thing I'll ask is, are you giving new customers the chance to buy something else and giving them a special deal on it as soon as they buy and become a customer for the first time? If they say no, I let them know they're lighting money on fire and they're never going to hit $1 million if they don't change it ASAP. If they are doing that, then I simply ask, what percentage of your customers are taking you up on this second offer or third offer that you make them? And the simple benchmark for upsells, when we're talking about making a special offer to a brand new customer as soon as they buy, you should be converting 15 to 30% of your new customers and instantly making them repeat customers that are spending even more money. If you're unable to hit those numbers, or you find yourself below those numbers, you fix it by solving whatever the next problem that they're going to run into. A lot of people make the mistake of they sell product A and then they try to upsell product B, but product B sounds just like product A. So why would somebody buy it? If you're a chiropractor and someone is coming in because they have back pain, the next problem they might solve is, well, how do they keep the back pain away in between these week to week visits? Maybe it's an at-home program. Maybe it's supplements they can take. Maybe it's an extra visit in between. If you sell a course about Facebook ads that helps somebody get set up and run Facebook ads for their business, maybe you can make another course on, hey, once this really starts to work, here's my program for really scaling this up and getting to thousands of dollars a day. If you sell ballet classes, why not hip hop classes? If you have any problem coming up with what is something else I could sell, here's the beauty of it. Go to ChatGPT, tell it what you're selling, tell it as much as you can about your customer and the problem that your product solves, and then ask it for very specific problems that you could help your customer with after they become a customer of your main product. And it'll give you as many product ideas as you could possibly imagine. Step number 5 is the back-end audit. So this is all about what happens after the sale. So if I'm coaching someone or if I'm building my own business, this is where I'm going to say, okay, when somebody becomes a customer for the first time and I offer them a couple other products to add into their cart, I got that part's checked off. What now happens the next day? And what happens the day after that? And what happens for the next 4 weeks after that? Obviously, I'm going to try to take care of them as a customer. I'm going to stay in touch with them very often to make sure they got what they paid for, that they get as much value out of my product as possible. But most businesses, that's all they do. And again, if that's all you were doing, I would simply let you know you're lighting money on fire and you most likely will never crack $1 million or $10 million plus in your business. But you can if you make the simple shift to now trying to maximize the lifetime value of your customer. What can you do in that first week, and then that first month, and then that first year? What messages can you set up that get automatically dripped to them via email, SMS, direct mail to deliver more value to them and let them know about the other things that you have that they can buy? If you do that, you should be able to check off this final benchmark. And that final benchmark is that your customers should be worth twice as much to you by the 30th to 60th day. Let's say you sell a skateboard for $50 and you have an upsell for some extra sets of wheels. And let's say your average customer by the end of that first day is worth $100. What I'm saying is your goal, the benchmark you should shoot for, is that by day 30 to 60, somewhere in that time frame, that customer on average should spend $200, twice as much as they did on day one. If you can hit those benchmarks, you will have no traffic problems for the rest of your business career. If you solve problems number 2, 3, 4, and 5, traffic becomes easy. And that's why I said at the very beginning, if I'm talking to someone and traffic is a big problem, they don't have any eyeballs yet, no one's coming into their store, no one's coming to their website, the first thing we're going to do is set up a solution for steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because why would you want to send a whole bunch of people through a business that can't turn traffic into leads very well? Or can't turn leads into customers very well, or can't turn customers into repeat customers very well? If you do that, you're just wasting all the time and money that you are spending trying to get eyeballs, posting to social media, running ads, sending emails, trying to increase word of mouth. Whatever traffic generation strategies that you would attempt to do are totally and utterly wasted if you send them into a business that is fundamentally broken. Fix your business. Steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then opening up the traffic floodgates becomes incredibly easy. Incredibly easy. When you dial in those other steps, you now can afford to spend as much money as you possibly want on ads, on hiring people to do organic social media for you, on hiring a sales team, on buying radio ads. You can put 10 grand into ads and make 50 grand on the back end. You could spend 20 grand hiring an entire social media team to follow you around, film you, edit reels and long form content, and turn 20 grand into 100 grand within 90 days. Everybody wastes their damn time on step number 1. You think you need more traffic. You think you need more eyeballs. You are wasting your time sending more people to your website, to your business, to your front door, to wherever your business is located, if you haven't dialed in and evaluated how your business is performing on step 2, 3, 4, and 5. So go do that. Rewatch this video. This is your checklist. You can diagnose any business under the sun with this checklist. Every business is the same. We all need the attention of people, get them to our business, whether it's offline or online. We turn those eyeballs into leads that know, like, and trust us. We attempt to turn those leads into customers and get those customers to become repeat customers that drive up the value of those folks every single week, month, year, quarter, and so on, like forever. That is the job of every business. So if you have any questions about any of this, let me know right down below in the comments. Again, this is the same exact process I've used to build every business that I've ever built or help every business I've ever attempted to help. And it's why so many of these metrics, if you're using SamCart, you know almost every one of these metrics. Anytime you want to go get it, you can log into your account and they're there for a reason because they're so fundamentally important to every business. So again, any questions, let me know down below in the comments. If you want our team to help with any of this stuff, we're always standing by. There's a link right down below in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.